Hey everybody, Attorney Bill Harrington here, and we are we are going to talk today about car accidents. If the lovely Sarah will let us, it is top 15 questions you might ask an attorney if you've been in a car accident.
Okay, first question. Do I really need a lawyer after a car accident?
Yes, you really should get an attorney after a car accident, especially if there are serious injuries that have occurred, if fault might be disputed, who caused the accident, you did, no, you did, that kind of thing. Insurance companies, these guys on the insurance side are trained to really minimize the payouts to something almost comically small. So you'll want an attorney that can navigate all that for you.
What should I do right after the accident?
So if the car is on fire, get out. Barring that, call 911. Right away. Don't even start thinking about lawsuits, anything like that. Make sure the other person's okay, that you're okay, and then when you've established that, start documenting things. Take some pictures. If you're able, if you're injured really seriously, obviously you can't do that. But take some pictures. Talk to people. Maybe get some names of witnesses, obviously get the other driver's insurance information and their contact information. Once the authorities arrive, the police arrive, there'll eventually be a police report that is created, and you'll want that at some point. Uh, and also start listening to what the other driver is saying. If they say, "Oh, geez, I'm sorry, I didn't even see you there," or make some other kind of inculpatory remark, that's take mental notes. I mean, don't be writing it down with a notepad because that'll just be weird. But you'll start taking mental notes and try to remember as best you can. Obviously, you're going to be a bit upset, but keep your mind aware of what the other side may say. Sort of the flip side of that is you say nothing. Don't admit fault. Don't say, there's no injuries at all. I think I'm going to be fine. Don't say any of that, especially with the injuries, because certain injuries only manifest a couple days later. You walk away from the accident, you think you're fine, the adrenaline is going, and then you wake up, 2, 3 days later, and you can't move your head. So those are the kinds of things that you don't want to say. You don't want to jump the gun. You don't want to say too much. So keep yourself quiet, and be on the listen for people who aren't quiet.
Do I have to report the accident to my insurance company?
Yes, you do. In both Pennsylvania and New Jersey, there is a requirement that you give prompt notice to your insurance carrier. If you don't, it could potentially jeopardize your claim. Insurance companies love to find ways anyway that they can minimize the payout here. And if you've waited a week, 2 weeks, a month, or whatever, they're going to start asking questions. Well, why did you wait this long? And it's best not to have to answer those, so just file it right away.
Who pays my medical bills?
In Pennsylvania, your own insurance will cover your medical bills. It's called personal injury protection, or PIP. That operates irrespective of who caused the crash. In New Jersey, same thing. PIP will cover all of your medical expenses, obviously up to your policy limits. After that, your health insurance or potentially the at fault driver's liability coverage that may kick in to cover anything else.
What if the other driver doesn't have insurance?
First of all, shame on them. Second of all, you're going to want to have uninsured or underinsured driver coverage. Basically, what that means is that if somebody is uninsured or is woefully underinsured, your insurance company, if you have that coverage, that's part of the policy. They will step in and pay. You may have to file a claim against your own insurance company for that, but that's the idea behind un and underinsured coverage.
How long do I have to file a claim?
So you're talking about the statute of limitations here, and in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey, it is 2 years from the date of the accident. So if it's a situation where you've been in an accident, there's been injuries, there's been property damage, etc., make sure if you do nothing else, make sure that you have that 2 year statute of limitations etched somewhere in granite because one of the few things that is absolutely 100% insurmountable in the law is a blown statute of limitations.
What if I was partially at fault?
Then shut up. No, I'm kidding. If you're partially at fault, don't say so. Don't if you think you might be, don't say so. If you know you are, again, and I feel the need to stress this, do not say so. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, they're both what are called comparative negligence states, meaning if you are 51% or less at fault for the accident, you can still recover, but the amount of your recovery is going to be reduced by that percentage. So if you were, say, 30% at fault, the amount of money you can recover will be reduced by 30%. If you are 51% or greater or greater at fault, you get nothing. It's because you were the main cause of the accident. So if it's 50-50 on down, you can still file a claim. There can still be liability. It's just you're going to take a hit with your recovery.
How much is my case worth?
That's a really good question. That's a question that I get asked a lot, really right off the bat. And the fact of the matter is that on day one, it's really hard to tell. It's going to depend on a lot of things. It's going to depend on your medical bills, what kind of injuries you suffered, what kind of pain and suffering there was. If it's relatively minor, the amount of recovery, the amount your case is worth might not be all that much. If it's something more catastrophic, heaven forbid, loss of a limb or something, paralysis, those cases are going to be, they're going to be worth, a whole lot more. One thing that I do try to, inform my clients of ahead of time is, don't go into just any old accident thinking that this is a 6 or 7 figure case. You'd be surprised how, how stingy some, opposing attorneys in insurance companies can be, and even some juries.
Should I talk to the other driver's insurance company?
No, no, not until you discuss that with an attorney. What their insurance company is going to do is they're going to look at your statement and take your statement with the idea of trying to find ways to say, you weren't hurt that bad, or, oh, you were at fault, or anything that they can later point to justify either a very, very lowball kind of offer or a complete denial altogether. So don't talk to the other insurance company until you discuss it with your attorney. Even if you're talking to your own insurance company, keep your statements brief. Don't admit fault. Basically, take a just the facts, ma'am kind of approach, and less is more.
What if I didn't go to the doctor right away?
Still go to the doctor. The longer you wait, the more you open yourself up to an opposing insurance company or even your own insurance company saying, well, you couldn't have been hurt that badly. And therefore, we're going to either deny coverage or here's some pittance, some meager little settlement offered to make you go away. They can also say that your injuries weren't related to the crash. So if you got injured, the crash happened May 1st. You didn't go to the doctor until June, say 15th. That's a month and a half of events, of things that could have happened in between those, in that space of time where the insurance company could say, oh, well, no, maybe you slept on your neck wrong. And that's what happened. It's not the whiplash from the crash. So the best advice is to go to the doctor as soon as you possibly can, even if you feel okay. Go to the doctor as soon as you can. If you feel okay and then you later don't feel okay, and again, some some of these injuries can be latent, go to the doctor as soon as you are symptomatic. The longer you wait, the more risk you take.
Will this go to court?
It could. A lot of these cases do settle out of court, but some of them, if there are real issues with particularly causation and damages, they could end up going to court, certainly. Uh, but what I would say is that even the cases that end up settling out of court, it's not a situation where you file a complaint on Monday and you have a settlement by Wednesday. These cases are going to at least go through, in my experience, the discovery process, which means interrogatories, requests for documents by both sides. The other side's going to request your medical records. They're going to ask you questions. You can do the same to them. I would also anticipate depositions, at least of the plaintiff and the driver of the other vehicle, the defendant, at a minimum, to say nothing of witnesses before there's even settlement discussions started. Because what the other side wants to do is they want to make sure that they don't have some home run, absolute defense to your claim before they just start issuing a whole bunch of money. So it won't be quick, but they don't all drag out to go to court.
What damages can I recover?
So you can recover medical bills, cost of rehab. You can recover lost wages, lost earning capacity. You can recover for pain and suffering. That's the big one that people always point to, good old pain and suffering. You can recover for property damage. You can, in certain circumstances, you can recover for loss of enjoyment of life. I mean, let's say you were an avid hiker or a biker or a swimmer or whatever, and now you can no longer do that. That is compensable. And by compensable, I mean you can recover money for having lost that. That has value to you. Another thing you could recover for, and this actually might bring in your spouse, and they will join the lawsuit, is something called loss of consortium. Sometimes attorneys get the church giggles when you talk about loss of consortium, because what you're really talking about is intimacy, physical intimacy, and that has value to people. And if the injuries are preventing that from happening and or impact that in any way, the spouse of the injured party can bring a claim for that loss.
Can I still recover if I wasn't wearing a seatbelt?
You can. In Pennsylvania and New Jersey, not wearing a seatbelt is not a complete bar to your claim. However, going back to what we were talking about before with the comparative negligence, the other side is certainly going to argue that your injuries could have been drastically reduced had you been wearing a seatbelt, and that could serve to reduce the amount of value that your case is worth.
How long will it take to settle my case?
It really depends on the severity of the injuries. But as I said before, in my experience, the other side is going to want to go and get as much information as they can and go through as much of the discovery process as they can before they even think about settling. So, minor injuries, that might last a couple months or so. Really major injuries could drag on for a few years, because there's just more facts, there's more detail to those. And there's more money at stake. So the insurance company and their attorneys they're going to fight that even harder.
What's the first step to get help?
Well, after the accident, obviously, you're going to want to go see your doctor, and then follow up with your doctor afterwards for any latent injuries. After that, reach out to an attorney that practices in this area. Usually we offer free consultations here at WPH Law, but you're going to want to talk to an attorney to see, do you have a case? And if so, is the value of the case worth the time and the effort and the expenditure of pursuing it in court? Listen, if you've been in a car accident, probably the last thing you want to worry about is our lawsuits or finding an attorney. You just want to get well, and you're probably going through still overcoming the shock of being in a car accident, particularly if you've been injured seriously. That's what you should focus on first. get yourself well. And then afterwards, if you feel the need to do so, uh, give us a call, 484-459-5075, or on the web at WPHLawoffices with the S.com.